Okay, so compound interest is another type of interest. It's an interest that is calculated on the principal plus any interest previously earned. For example, if you keep the interest earned in your account with compound interest, the new interest is calculated on the principal plus that interest. Therefore, you will always earn more interest than with simple interest. And this is true always. Okay? The formula for calculating compound interest is A equals P times 1 plus R divided by N, all to the power of N times T. Now, sometimes you'll see it written like this. A is equal to P, and then 1 plus R over N, and then N times T. Where A is the final amount, P is the principal, R, T, and N, you've seen these before. The only difference is the compounding periods. So annually is 1, semi-annually is 2, quarterly is 4, monthly is 12, weekly is 52, daily is 365. What that means is the payouts, annually they pay out once a year, semi-annually they pay out twice a year, quarterly 4 times a year, and so on. Okay. It says here, for our purposes, the term we use will always be in years. And compound interest can also be paid more than once a year, right? And that's how, when we talk about compounding periods, then you'll have to sort of be aware of that. So annually is once a year, it'll be paid out once a year. Semi-annually is 2 times a year. Quarterly is 4. Monthly is 12, weekly is 52, and daily is 365 times. Okay? So example number 1 says, what is the compounded amount if $5,000 is deposited in the account for 2 years that pays an annual interest rate of 4.5%? So this is kind of neat because it says principal is $5,000. R is, of course, 4.5%, so it's going to be 0.045. T, of course, is 2. And compounding annually is 1. So you plug this into the calculator. Here's the formula plugged in. This part of the equation says 1 times 2. That's an exponent, okay? 1 times 2 is an actual 2. You must know the answer to this expression before beginning to calculate the rest of the expression. So 1 times 2 is 2. So it looks like this. A is equal to 5,000 times 1 plus 0.045 divided by 1, right? Because it's compounding once a year. And then all to the exponent of 2. Now, you have to type it in exactly the way it says. That means that with the brackets, all right, you have to be extra careful with the brackets. So make sure you're careful with the brackets, and everyone should be using calculators with brackets to get the exponent, and use the y to the power of x button so your calculator strokes would look like this. Okay, now some calculators have a different type of exponent button, so we've gone over that, so you should know how to use that. The answer displayed on your calculator will be $5,460.125, but of course we know that there isn't half a cent, so it gets rounded up. Always rounded up. Alright, so here's example number 2. It says find the compounded amount if you were to put $400 in the bank with the interest rate of 4.75% for 5 years, and interest is compounded weekly. Okay, so this one is principal of $400, rate is 0.0475, time is 5 years, but because we know it's compounding 52 times, right, the exponent is going to be 5 times 52. Now I'm going to take my calculator out, and you should sort of see this here. Now I have this heavy duty calculator, but the way it works is this, right? So it's going to be 400, that's my principal, times bracket 1 plus my rate. I'm going to open the bracket again. My rate is 0.0475 divided by 52. I'm going to close the bracket, and then to the exponent of, this is going to be 52 times 5. So my grand total is $4,254.29. Okay, so 4,000, oops, I lost my calculator. Let me just make sure you see that. 4,254.29. 4254.29. Because the compound amount A is made up of the principal and, and the interest earned. A is equal to P plus I. The amount of interest earned can be calculated. First by calculating A and then subtracting from the original amount. And again, I apologize for my handwriting. Okay, so in this case, the amount of interest earned is 4254.19, subtract 4,000, we earned $254.29. Don't forget the unit. All right, example number 3. It says, Margaret invested $2,000 in an account with an interest rate of 8% for 3 years, compounded quarterly. How much interest does she earn? So again, principal is $2,000. We have a rate of 0.08 for 3 years, and it's compounded quarterly. So it's going to look like this. It's going to be 2,000 times 1 plus 0.08 divided by, the number of compounding periods is 4 times, to the power of 3 times 4. If you punch that into your calculator, I won't bother showing it to you. I got 2,500 and I think it was $36.48. So of course, if we're interested in just finding the interest, it's going to be $2,536.48 minus our original investment of $2,000, and Margaret earned $536.48 in interest. The last example says you worked very hard, now have invested $8,000. Since you don't need the money right now, you decide to invest in a Canada savings bond at 6.75% compounded semi-annually for 5 years. How much interest do you earn at the end of 5 years? Okay, so here we have principal $8,000. My rate is 0.0675. My time is 5 years, but it's compounded semi-annually. That means twice every year. So here is how the formula works. My amount is 8,000 times 1 plus 0.0675 divided by my number of compounding periods, which is 2, to the power of 5 times 2, which is 10. If you punch this into your calculator, again, I won't bother showing this to you, you should have gotten what looks like $11,149.24. But if you're interested in just the interest, well, we are going to subtract $11,149.24, subtract 8,000. So you would have earned approximately $3,149.24. Okay, and hopefully this makes sense.